श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदाहृति श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैतित्युगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूत मनर्गशीलं गोपाल देशिक मुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः पराशर मुनिं वंदे कृत पौर्वाण्यक्रियं मैत्रेय परिपप्रच्छ प्रणिपत्याभिवाद्य च. So we are fortunate to dwell on the wonderful pastimes of Mahavishnu as beautifully narrated by Swami sage Parashara to sage Maitreya. So when sage Maitreya inquired sage Parashara generic questions as to who does the creation, what's the way that the creations are formed, and what are the solar and lunar dynasty, the lineage, Surya Kulam, Chandra Kulam, all that he had asked several questions, and we have been enjoying for the past 28-29 weeks these incidents, narrations as beautifully portrayed by sage Parashara. Last week we saw in the Ikshvaku Kulam there is a king by name Katwangan, and King Katwangan was so valorous, such a dharmic king, most virtuous king of Ikshvaku Kulam. It seems he supported Devas, the celestial Devas, celestial bodies, and headed by Devendran in a battle against Asuras. He supported with his army. And they won the battle against Asuras, and Devendra was immensely pleased with the support given by King Katwangan. He requested King Katwangan to seek a boon from Devendra, which he can grant because he was quite pleased. King Katwangan said, I just did my duty, it is my kartavyam. As a Kshatriya, I did that, and that's all. I supported the good against the evil, and hence there's nothing you need to give me. But Devendra kept on insisting. So King Katwangan finally said, okay, if you really want me to ask, this is what I want to ask. How long will I live in this life, in this sarira? So he asked that question because Devas will know us humans how long we will live. So Devendra had to respond to this question because he had promised that he would give whatever that King Katwangan would ask. So he said, you are going to live only for one muhurtam, which is 1.5 hours in our time. So one muhurtam not in Devaloka's time, but in the Bhuloka's time. One muhurtam there also means one muhurtam here. He said one muhurtam may be quite thousands of years in our place. But when you as a human would live for one muhurtam, that means it's applicable for your lokam, your place. And hence you would live only for 1.5 hours. So King Katwangan never got panicky. He never sweated. He never said, oh my God, I'm going to die. He never said. He sought the sage Vasishta's assistance, and immediately he performed Saranagati to the Lord Ranganatha, who is their Ishtadevam, the Kula Devam, the Kula Dhanam. And he mentioned in that sloka that my Atma is not as dear to me like the Bhagavatas. The Bhagavatas, the Bhaktas, the Brahmins, the scholars, the Vedantic rishis, they are all very close to you. They really know how this Jivatma is completely dependent on you, how you take care of them. But if I had followed my Swadharma, the Kshatriya Dharma, if I had never ever strayed from the path of Dharma, if I had truly seen you as the indweller, as the Antaryami, as the inner being in all the plants, in all the animals, in all the humans, in all the devas, whereby I had realized that there is no living, there is no non-living entity can exist independently without you. If I understand that right, then I perform Saranagati to you. and you may grant me moksham, the redemption, the salvation. He said he performed Saranagati. So the king states in this slokam, which are the fulfillment of Saranagati. And we briefly touched upon what is Saranagati last week. I would like to further dwell on that concept called Saranagati. So this Saranagati is the most beautiful concept. So here the Saranagati is actually Lord Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter 66th slokam that Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, Yennai Oruvanaye Sharanade, surrender to me alone, and I would absolve you of all papams, and I would grant you moksham. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha, do not lament. So here we understand that it is Krishna or the Vishnu or the Supreme Brahman, the Lord is the one who grants moksha. If he grants moksha, if it is he who alone can grant moksha, because moksham dadati iti mukundaha. The Sanskrit etymology says Mukunda is the one who grants moksha. The name Mukunda means moksham giver, moksham granter. Moksham is nothing but getting rid of the samsaric afflictions, getting rid of further births and deaths, getting rid of the vicious cycle again and again and again. We will be born as a pig, we will be born as a mosquito, we would be born as a deva, we would be born as very many things. We have been taking birth very many millions of times, and we do not remember because of the karma we are undergoing all this. And how to get rid of this karma? Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, surrender to me. Mam ekam sharanam vraja, mam ekam yennai oruvanaye, surrender to me alone. And also says Narayanane namakke parai taruvan, he would grant us. So here, if he is a Sarveshwaran, he is a Supreme Lord, he is a Sarvajna, he is Sarvashaktan, he is everything, he is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, he is there inside and outside of everything and everyone. In that case, does he not know that what I want? Do I have to ask? So he should know, he should just save me. He is my Father, he is my Lord, he is my Supreme Master. He is the one who supports me, he is the Adharam, I am the Adheyam. So why should I ask? If I ask, which means does he not know what I want? So question is asked by people. This Saranagati, why is it required? So the reason behind is he is also a Sastravashyan, means he should also be in accordance with Shastram, the one which he has laid down, the Vedantams, the rituals, the Anushtanam. Because we are taking birth in various forms, because of our karma, because of our own karma. This is being thrust upon us, this birth, because of our own past punya papa karma. Otherwise, why should someone be born as a prince in the Prince of Wales, and the other one being born as a son of a beggar? Why should someone be born as a dog and the other one is born as a pup in an actress house? So why should all this happen? Karma. Simple answer, karma. Our own karma. What you sow, so you reap. So if that's the case, if he decides to give moksha, because he is a Sarvajnan, because he is a Sarvashaktan, nobody can challenge him. If he grants moksham, for example, to Madhavakkannan, me, that okay, I will give him. Then other Ramaswamy and Krishnaswamy and Mukundan and PK and Chandrasekhar, everybody would ask, why should he only get? I should also get. Perumal, why you are being biased, you are partial. You should give it to everyone. The moment he gives to these 4 people, the other 400 people would come. Why? Why should I be born as a mosquito next birth? Give me, all of us will take porkodi, will raise the flag. All of us will want moksha. He cannot give? He can. He is a Sarvashaktan. He can. Nobody is going to challenge him. If he says, okay, all of you transfer to this directory. All of us go to Sri Vaikuntham, moksha, finish. All problems solved. No more universe, no more karma, nothing. He can do that. But then he himself has laid down the shastras, the varnashrama dharma. If he goes against that, then what's the point? He makes the rule. He says the one who hits the football, one he hits the ball, will reach the goal. And if tomorrow he says no more goal post, you just play, then there is no rule of the game. Because all these are called Leela Vibhuti, this particular prapancham. It's all his divine sport. He is giving a chance for us to get rid of this by asking us to perform a small pretext, a small excuse, by being devoted, by folding hands, by performing, by reciting Nama Sankirtanam, by taking a bath in the Ganges, by going to the temple, by doing the circumambulation, pradakshanam, by observing fast in Ekadashi. There are very many ways he has laid down. Thereby you will get spiritually elevated. He is giving you a chance because he has given us the vivekam. We are not like the inanimate object. We are not like the wood, the prapancham, the matter. We are living entity. We are called Chit, the one who is able to think, sentient being. We are all able to think. So the moment he gives us the discriminatory power to think, the vivekam, that means he wants you to think, he wants you to contemplate, and he wants you to have a quest in your heart and ask yourself, inquire yourself, investigate, do the research, and then find out from a guru that which is the way to come out of all these issues. So you get into LKG, UKG, +2, university, PhD, and then you realize that this is nothing but common sense, everything. And then you elevate yourself in the material world. Similarly, in the spiritual world, you have to go step by step and understand finally the redemption is by seeking, by asking him what we want. If we say we want Aishwarya, Sarva Aishwarya, we want Jivatma Anubhavam, we want furthermore very many births in this bhumi. Next birth I want to be born as a prime minister, as the prince of UK or somewhere. I want to be the president of a country. You can seek, you can pray, you can do meditation, tapas, and seek all these things. He would be able to grant at the right moment in the right birth. However, if you know that this is going to be horrible, any birth, whether it is a good birth or a bad birth, whether it's with lots of punyam or lots of papam, the punya, the swargam is also a golden cage. Whether you are in a golden cage or an iron cage, it is a cage. It is a velange. And then once your punya gets dissolved, you will be kicked out of swargam, and you again fall back into this vicious cycle again and again. So one should reflect. When we perform Saranagati, it is only an excuse. The actual grantor of moksham is Perumal, Sriman Narayana. He says, only through bhakti and prapatti I can grant you moksham. Bhaktya. So he says, bhakti or prapatti alone can grant moksham. Bhaktya paramaya vapi prapatyoham mahamate prapyoham nanyata prapya mama kaikarya likshubhihi. So in order to perform kaikaryam eternally at my place in Sri Vaikuntham, either bhakti yogam or prapatti, Saranagati, is what I would accept. He himself has said that, Perumal. So the term prapatti means the self-surrender. performing Saranagati. It is also called Nyasam, renouncing your. So we should never ever think that I perform Saranagati, so I will get moksha. It's not that. It is because he is pleased with the action that you have sought. You have placed your soul at the lotus feet of Bhagavan in order to requesting him to protect us, to take the burden of taking care of us. So we place ourselves at his feet. We place our burden, the papam, punyam, everything we placed at his feet. The burden of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our Atma is by him. And anything that he is going to give because of that is also we placed on him. So it is called Swarupa Samarpanam, then Pala Bara Samarpanam, Pala Samarpanam. So we submit, we surrender the Atma, we also surrender the burden, we also surrender the fruits of surrendering, Saranagati. So everything is given back to him. We have been stealing the Atma from him so long. That is why we have been toiling again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, chatare shayanam. Iga samsare, bagudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. So the Saranagati, one should reflect that we are not the main doer. We are only raising our hand, please save me. Like what I mentioned last week, pressing a button in the lift. The lift is the one that takes care. The Perumal is the one who is ready, who is able to grant and who is pleased with our action. Even if we are performing Bhakti Yogam of the uninterrupted contemplation like a oil flow into the vessel, which is a continuous dhare, continuous flow. Like that one needs to contemplate on him, dhyanam, eternally, forever, for very many births. Then he would grant moksha. Also Perumal is the one who grant moksha. So whether it is Bhakti Yogam or the Saranagati, it is he who grants us the moksha. Suppose today he says, just for argument's sake, you placed Saranagati, you performed Saranagati. Today he says, hereafter from this moment onwards, I am not going to give moksha for those who have performed Saranagati. They have to live for another 10 more births, and maybe 100 more births before they come to me finally for moksha. And I would just facilitate them to they will think of me in those 100 births because they have been quite devoted to me. They have performed Saranagati. It is not at the end of this birth. It will be after 100 birth. If he says that, would we go and ask him? No, you went ahead, you went back on you didn't keep your promise, you didn't accept. So this is not acceptable. We would not, because if we have placed our Atma, if we have placed our burden, the Baram, if we have placed the fruit of that burden, then we should just accept what he is going to give. We should just be blissful, happy, contemplating on his gunam, on his leela, on his katha, be with the Bhagavatas, listen to him, sing his glories, recite all these things, verses, recite Vishnu Sahasranamam, and anything and everything connected with him. See him in everything and everyone. Love everyone and everything because they are nothing but him. The whole world is his. Everywhere he lives. If you reach that state, whether you live in the hell or in the heaven or as a mosquito or as a lion or as a deva, doesn't matter. Because we have already surrendered. So that's the mindset we should have. Not that he is going to say only after 100 births or 10 births. He has already said, Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Do not lament, do not fear. But that said, I'm just saying for the argument's sake, that We should never ever bother whether he will give, whether he will not give. Will he take care of me? Would he, why am I having all these problems even after performing Saranagati? Why am I losing my job? Why am I getting this disease? Why am I getting poor? Why the thieves have stolen the car from me? All these questions will not arise, because we are just living based on our karma, which is left still until the end of this life. So here the beautiful concept is that one should never ever think that we are the main doer. It is Paramatma alone who is the granter of moksha. So it is kartrutva tyagam, the doer, the doership, the I and mine, and the fruits of this Saranagati, all are surrendered to him already. So the Saranagati actually is consisting of 5 angams, and which is Atmanikshepam. So it is called Anukulyasya Sankalpam, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, Rakshishvati Vishwasaga. So there is a sloka which says there is Anukulyasya Sankalpam, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. And let me just mention that to you. So this is a wonderful concept that we should think of all these things while we perform this Saranagati and while we are contemplating of this Saranagati. So here we say Anukulyasya Sankalpam, means we would do something which would please Perumal. We take a pledge when we perform Saranagati that I surrender to your lotus feet and for the total responsibility for my protection. I have no other means. I will perform only the duties that please you. That is Anukulya Sankalpa. And I will not do anything which will displease you. I will not transgress the code of conduct prescribed by the Shastras. Means, Tikkuralai Chandrodom, Neyunnom, Palunnom, Natkale, Nirad, Mayittidom, Malarittu Namudiyom. So, when I will not do anything which will not hurt my conscience, anything that your mother will not be proud of you, we should not be doing. I am totally unfit for the pursuit of performing Bhakti Yogam, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam. I am not capable. I am not qualified because I cannot even focus for 2 minutes. Where do I perform Bhakti Yogam? I stand before you with utter humility and total helplessness, and that is called Karpanyam. And I have total enduring, unflinching, unconditional faith that you will protect me, because you only said Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Mam ekam saranam braja. You surrender to me, I will absolve you of all papams. You are the one who said. And hence I have Maha Vishwasam on you. It's not just Vishwasam. It's not trust. It is faith. And it's not just faith. Unconditional faith. Unflinching faith. I would never ever waver from this. Even if you, like Kulasekara Alvar used to say, that I would hold on to your lotus feet, my Lord, like a small baby holds on to the mother's feet. Even if the mother is angry, even if the mother tries to push the baby out because she is angry with the baby, for all the child's pranks, for all the child's crankiness, the child has been creating havoc in the house. So she is very angered by the child's action, just like Perumal is angered by my actions. Because I have been transgressing against Shastras for so many births, he is very angry. But I perform Saranagati, I hold on to his feet like a baby holding on to his mother, and it's crying. The mother would say, don't come near me, okay? Enough. But still the baby cannot go anywhere. And that's the Maha Vishwasam. That's the Ananya Gatitvam, means no other refuge we have. We don't have anywhere else to go. And I entrust my protection entirely to you and you alone with this powerful prayer appeal. And it's called Goptrutva Varana. So there are 5 things which we are talking about. Anukulyasya Sankalpam. The duties, I will do all that, I will say all that, I will think all that which would please you. Means be good to people, do not harm, do not cause hatred, do not speak toxic words which will hurt others, because in everyone and everything indwells God. So I would do anything, all the duties to please you. If I wear a punal, I would perform Trikala Sandhyavandanam, because you have laid out to perform Sandhyavandanam. By stopping of doing all those Trikala Sandhyavandanam, you don't expect Perumal will accept our Saranagati. Because you are not doing your straight time job. Where is the question of doing overtime job? He wants you to follow his instructions. And Anukulyasya Sankalpam is that Pratikulyasya Varjana. I will not transgress the code of conduct prescribed by you in your Shastra. We will come back to Katwangan, how he is falling into all these 5 angams. He is by saying that sloka where he mentions each of those items. So he also fulfills these. So I will not do anything that would displease you. I will do everything that would please you, and I am totally unfit to perform. I am staying so humble, because there is no point in going with the pride, arrogance, false pride. Nothing. Humble, because we are not able to do anything which he says. So you have to take care of me. So if we need something from someone, and we have to first be good to him, then only he would give. We should not do anything that would make him angry. Naturally, we should be a little bit lower than the person who gives us for anything and everything. Locally, even practically in our world, we see that. And we should have a faith that he would give us. And we should appeal and seek from him what we want. All these are required in Saranagati. These 5 limbs are required. So involving in those acts that will be pleasing to him is Anukulya Sankalpa. Removing, restraining from any fact, any act, any deed, any talk which will be displeasing to his cause will be Pratikulya Varjana. Recognizing that one is capable of observing any other means for Saranagati, that we are not capable of performing any other means. We are not capable of performing Bhakti Yoga. We are not capable of performing uninterrupted contemplation and like a flow of oil forever without any gap. It's not possible. And with humility surrendering to him, Karpanyam, having Mahavishwasam that he will definitely protect us. Because having a Vishwasam would happen only if you know him, if you know his power, if you know his potential, if you know his Sarva Shaktitvam. If we don't know, if we go to someone and ask, only when we know that he is capable of giving, we will go and ask. We will not go and ask the beggar who is sitting in front of the ICICI bank for 1,000 rupees. We would not ask. We would go to someone who has got enough wealth and we would ask. Similarly, Perumal, we should know about his power, prowess, strength. He is Jnanam, Balam, Aishwaryam, Viryam, Shakti, Tejas. He is Swami. And he is not only Swami, he is so easily accessible by us. He is such a Saulabhya. So we should think of, he has got such a Vatsalyam on us, like a mother towards the baby, like a father towards the child, like the Acharya towards the Shishya. He has got million times more than these relations which I just talked about. So we should think of all these things, and we should we should perform Saranagati, that He is the Supreme Lord of all. As the bonded Seshabhutan, servant, Bhaktan, I am completely under His control. We should think. He is the one who blessed me with this jnana. Because we should never ever think that I have done this, I have performed Saranagati, I have done so. He would definitely grant, I am the best. I am not like that person who is still undergoing, who is still not believing. No pride, because it is Perumal is the one who has taken a sankalpam to give us this bhagya of listening to this. Why should otherwise you all listen to me? Because Perumal has blessed both of us for me to talk about this and for you to listen to this. And it is His will that we should undergo this and take this opportunity, grab and get rid of further cycles of births and deaths. So the king states in this sloka that Bhagavatas are dearer to him than Perumal himself. So by that he is saying that Perumal would be pleased to hear. If someone says he loves Bhagavan's bhaktas more than we love Bhagavan himself, he will be extremely pleased. If you go to somebody's house and if you are brushing aside somebody's child who is coming and hugging you, he said, no, I came to see your father. You don't come, okay? You stand there. The father will definitely get pissed off. On the other hand, if we start fondling the baby, loving the baby, talking to him affectionately, then the father would be pleased because we take care of the baby more than the father. So the king has fulfilled the Anukulyasa Sankalpa, according to which he has to perform activities which will please Perumal. And the king said he refrained from carrying the deeds which cause displeasure to Perumal. He said, I am performing the Kshatriya Dharma in a dharmic manner. I am doing whatever that is I am supposed to do as a Kshatriya, helping the Devas who are your bhaktas. So that is Pratikulyasa Varjana, not doing anything which would cause him displeasure, cause Perumal the displeasure. And he came to realize that he cannot exist independently, as that any other Jivatma cannot exist independently. We are all part and parcel of him as his Sarira. So that he knows that I am helpless, I don't have anyone other than you. Karpanyam, the humility. And he never doubted that Perumal's ability to grant moksha, because sage Vasishta himself mentioned and he had understood. King Katwangan had Mahavishwasa and he prayed that may I be granted moksha by you. He satisfied Goptritva Varna. So all the five have been accomplished by King Katwangan, which are part of Prapatti, which are part of Saranagati. They are all synonyms, Saranagati, Prapatti, Baranyasam, everything. So King Katwangan performed Saranagati and attained moksha. So this is the way Swami Nammalvar also praises King Katwangan in one of his pasurams and asks us to follow the footstep of the king so that we may at least make use of the last few minutes of our life and offer our Atma as the ghee to the Lord, as the havis to the Lord, as a humble offering to the Lord, which actually belongs to Him. We are only giving back to Him. Enough said. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyos.